at Wise Guy Records studio with Jackie Kallen, boxing legend, wonderful manager. I've heard a lot about you in the boxing industry. We're also here for the Her Friendship Matters, which is an organization that Ms. Kallen is doing a lot of things with. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about the foundation?
Well, you can go to www.herfriendshipmatters.org.
Okay.
And find out what it's all about. And basically, it's an organization to help young women, to mentor them, to encourage them, to be friends with each other, to help each other. You know, traditionally women have been pretty catty and they don't help each other. You know, one makes it and it's like, all right, girls, stay away.
Everybody stay away from me.
Right. And we really need to help each other. You know,
yes,
we have to reach a hand out and make opportunities available to each other. And I think that's very important. I think that female empowerment is very big and strong in this day. I mean, we have Hillary Clinton running for president, so I mean, how much more empowering can that be for young girls to see? And I think that it's a very important subject now. A lot of young girls become mothers at young ages. They're saddled with a lot of responsibilities, and they feel like their career goals are just dashed because they have a young child. And so we want these girls to feel that there is a bright future, and that Her Friendship Matters is a way of teaching and showing that all of our friendships matter and we're all here for each other.
So is there certain things that you guys focus on specifically with the organization? Like, some things are like more importantly focused on than other things, or?
Well, I think if people go to the website, they'll get a very good overview, and then that will also give them an opportunity to donate if they would like to help us with what we're doing.
So we can donate money.
Absolutely,
Okay.
every dollar helps for the program, and what we really want to do is raise awareness of what we're doing, because every organization that's new needs help financially and awareness. So shows like this really matter to us.
Oh, well, all right. Well, let's hear a little bit about yourself, Miss Jackie Kallen.
Well, what would you like to know?
Let's start from the top. Where did you grow up?
In Detroit.
Oh, you grew up right here in the Motor City, huh?
Right in the city. Yep. Went to Mumford High School, and I'm a Detroit city girl through and through.
Were you ever a married woman?
I was. I was married for 30 years. I was married from 66 to 96.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, I had a good run. Nice husband, 2 nice children, and
Do you have boys or girls?
2 boys.
2 boys.
Well, it's inevitable. My mother had a girl and a boy, so I never had a sister. And my father was one of 3 boys, and my husband was one of 4 boys, and then I had 2 boys. So, sports, fast
Kind
cars,
of the way to go, huh?
family, that was around me all the time. So, yeah, it's amazing that I'm in touch at all with my feminine side. I had no feminine, role models other than my mother.
You're a
She
great
loved
dresser.
sports too. Well, I'm into animal prints. I like all that. It's sort of my trademark.
So what was your first career? What was the first thing that got you started in?
Well, my first career was a writer.
A writer, okay.
I was a journalist. I started that very young, very young. I realized when I was 6, 7, 8 years old that I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, I couldn't act because I couldn't remember the scripts. I couldn't play tennis, I couldn't play golf, I couldn't play baseball. I mean, I was very limited in what I could do. And my mother enrolled me in a creative writing class when I was 9, and that became my calling, writing. I loved it. And I entered contests at 9 years old, writing contests.
Oh, wow.
And the first one I won was a national contest. Once I won that, it was like, okay, then I'm a writer. And that's what I pursued, journalism. And I wrote for my school paper in high school, and then I moved to New York and wrote for a rock and roll magazine in New York. And I came back and wrote for the Oakland Press here in the Detroit area for 25 years.
So who were some of the people you actually got to interview?
Everybody I could think of at the time. Elvis, Sinatra.
Oh, wow.
I interviewed politicians.
2 legends.
Athletes, Muhammad Ali. I mean, you name them. I pretty much met every actor, every sports star, and every TV and record industry.
So basically your mom kind of got you started on it with the whole stepping stone, like putting you in the little competitions.
Well, she did, and when I was 13, I wrote this entry in a contest to win a date with Ricky Nelson, who was a singer back then that used to be on TV. It'd be like winning a date with Justin Bieber today. And oh, was I happy. And I thought, this is my ticket to Hollywood. You know, I'm going to meet him and he's going to say, wow, this girl from Detroit is awesome. I'm going to take her back to California with me and groom her to be my wife. Well, that didn't happen, but, you know, I did keep writing and interviewing people, and it taught me how to get along with everybody and how to speak to anybody about anything. So that became, I think, a stepping stone for me. Once I met one celebrity, meeting the rest was easy.
Everything just kind of like, was it nerve-wracking at first when you first started to do it?
I thought it might be the first time I met the Rolling Stones or the Beatles or people like that, but I'm such an outgoing person that I just kind of went with the flow of it, and I didn't really feel intimidated at all.
Well, you're my first celebrity interview, so.
Well, there you go. See what I'm saying? It just kind of flows,
You're
right?
at the top of my resume.
There you go. I like that.
So, touching base on the motivational speaking that we talked about a couple minutes ago, what were some of the places you went? Like, did you go to colleges or?
Oh, my motivational speaking career, which spans probably about 15 years now, I've gone all over the country, in Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal, all over, empowering women, talking about making it in a man's world, because certainly making it in boxing, which is a pretty basically male-dominated sport, was a bit of a stretch for any woman to kind of get through that glass ceiling. And I was just working with the manual and just being a publicist, and George Foreman was coming to town to fight at the Palace, and as a publicist, I was running the press conference for that. Well, the young guy he was fighting came from Chicago. He was an Italian kid, nice looking. He had no manager with him or nothing. And I said, geez, where's your manager? He said, well, I don't have one. Well, I didn't realize at the time it was because he really wasn't that talented a fighter, maybe. So I said to him, well, I'll be your manager, because I thought, he's a good-looking young kid. If he could fight a little bit, you know, I could make him the next Rocky, because he kind of had that look, you know. Well, he got knocked out in the first round. But I felt, you know what, maybe with the right training, he could be something. So I took him on, and I'd say we worked together for 3-4 fights. Then he got a career-ending injury to his leg, and now he's a big promoter in Chicago, doing great. So he's still in boxing, but in a different capacity. But once he gave me the okay to manage him, and all the other guys in the gym saw I had the best sweatsuits for him, he came to the gym, I held his legs when he did his sit-ups, and I had water ready for him and Gatorade, and he was treated like he was a champion, and he wasn't. So all the other guys said, I want that, you know? So I kind of slid in the back door.
Yeah, you found that little crack and just.
Yeah, no one could do it better than a woman. And I think once I did that, you know, I've managed half a dozen world champions, and I'm in several different Hall of Fames now. And so once you achieve that, you become a role model for other women, because they say, if you did that, I can do that. And there's so many career choices for women that they might not think of because they feel like they're not welcome there, or it's not a good choice for a woman. But along the way, when I've been doing my speeches, I've met women that were pipe fitters and that were morticians and all kinds of jobs that you would not think are traditionally female jobs. And I love that, because you have to stretch, you have to think out of the box, and you have to, you know, find a goal and strive for it.
I believe anybody can do anything if they put their mind to it.
That's right. That's why you're going to have a hit record one of these days. Or you're going to have an act that will be out there on TV, a sitcom or something. It's what you want.
I hope so.
Well,
I've always wanted to be an entertainer. That's something I told my mom since I've been old enough to talk. I told her I was put on this earth to entertain.
Then you got to go for it.
And I do.
It's as simple as that. You have to go for it. Otherwise, it will be an unrealized dream. And it's not good to get to the end of our journey and have stones that weren't turned over. I turn over every stone in my way. On my journey, if I see a stone, I turn it over. If it looks like something I want to do, I can take that path.
Championship belt, championship
That's
belt.
it. That's it. Nothing's off limits.
So what were some of the key things you did throughout your whole career, or any career that you did, that made you such a success?
Well, I think choosing what I was good at was a big thing. I knew I could write. I knew I could speak to people. I knew that I had the ability to communicate. Communication is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift. And once I knew that those were my gifts, I stayed right in that lane. I didn't try to be a champion skier. I didn't try to sing the national anthem at a fight. I stayed right in my lane. And if you pick what you're good at, you have a really good chance of success. If you pick what you're not good at, you have a pretty good chance of failure. So once I figured that out, I stayed right in that little space where I was good, and then it was easy to succeed because that was my talent, my gift, easier to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to find what you're good at and stick to it.
So what did you do? Like, how did you go from journalism to managing boxing?
Yeah,
That's a little bit of a leap.
It is. It's a big leap, right? Well, I was 25 years into this career and interviewing celebrities mostly,
Mm-hmm.
athletes, movie stars, like I said, celebrities. And I got a chance to cover sports for my paper. And the first person I interviewed was Mark the Bird Fidrich, who was a pitcher for the Detroit
Okay.
Tigers back before you were born, probably. And that kind of made me want to become a sports writer as well. So along the way, I interviewed a young boxer named Thomas Hearns from Detroit,
Tommy
Hitman
Hearns,
Hearns.
yes, I know
And
him.
I ended up going to work for him, and we still work together 39 years later.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, he's one of my best friends. But that was another stone that I lifted and went, sports writing, let's flip that stone over. And I went down that path. And because of my interest in the sport of boxing, I thought maybe I could get involved somehow. So Emmanuel Stewart hired me as a publicist. And 10 years later, after learning how to wrap hands, how to stop cuts, how to, match fights, watching every aspect of the sport behind the scenes, I said, I think I could manage a fighter and take him all the way to the top. And so this is a pun and it's a metaphor.
Oh, I
It's
like puns.
cliche, but I threw my hat in the ring and said, I'm going to try managing, and I did. And knock wood, I've been successful at it. And I think it's because I love it.
You've been one of the best.
I love what I do, and I have an eye for talent. So I've been able to go into a gym and look at a fighter and say, yeah, I like him. He's got a good jab. He's got good footwork. I like the way he takes a punch. I know what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a bit of a gift, too. So I haven't ended up with a lot of duds, guys that didn't go anywhere. I've been fortunate to pick winners, and that's been great.
So, obviously, besides Tommy Hearns, who were some of the other boxers you got to manage?
Oh my gosh, James Toney, Bronco McCart, Tom Boom Boom Johnson,
Boom Boom Johnson.
Damian
Oh,
Fuller,
wow.
Joseph Chunaka. Oh gosh, so many. Tarek Salmasi and Scotty Bucksiger. I've had a lot of great guys that I've had the chance to work with. Jose Celaya. Most recently, I've worked with a couple. Well, one I won't mention because he's retired and he doesn't. Michael Dallas Jr. He was doing great, and then he ran into a guy that knocked him out in the first round.
Oh.
He said, "I'm done." But I think he'll come back. I think he just needed some time off because that was embarrassing.
So you started managing boxing in '88, and then you won your
Yes.
first title with James Toney in '91.
Right, 2.5 years later, which was really good.
And he was middleweight back then, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
He was a
He's a
middleweight.
big
back
boy
then.
now.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah, he's heavyweight
maybe
now.
100 pounds heavier. Yeah, but that was a long time ago too.
I think I would have been wanted to get hit by him back then than now.
I think so. I think so. But I have a new kid now that's phenomenal. He's a welterweight, and he's 2-0 with 2 knockouts. He's from Connecticut. He's
Oh,
a
wow.
Puerto Rican kid, and he's unbelievable. So I have a feeling that in a couple years he's gonna be a champion.
So tell me a little bit about you, like you personally. Like, what do you like to do for fun when you're not working or traveling or?
Well, I'm always working and traveling, so when I'm not, I guess number one would be to play with my grandchildren. I have 5 of them, and oh my God, they're so cute. So I love doing that. I love writing. I'm working on my 3rd book, and I find that to be a really good release when I'm stressed or tired. I can sit down at the computer and just create, and I really like that a lot. And I have a lot of friends. I have a big network of friends, and we go out a couple times a week, and I really like that. And but like I said, I'm not from the school, let's go dancing, let's go karaoke. I mean, I would clear the room in any of those things. Not good. So it limits my hobbies. But yeah, I can knit and I can cook. So I do those
Oh, you're a
things when
good
I have
cook?
time. I'd say I'm a decent cook. I mean, I'm not going to have my own Rachel Ray show anytime soon. But that's okay. You know, no one's died of my cooking.
So I've never usually ever seen this in an interview, so I wanted to throw this in there. Is there anything that you'd like to know about me? Anything that would interest you, or anything you'd like to know?
I could use you for sparring. I think that, let me see.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't think I'm
I'm
on
not-
shape. I'm not in shape.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well you would take a body punch. But I do know that you like comedy and you like singing, and that interests me because you want to get into show business. You're still young enough, and I think you should get an agent, and you should go for it. I mean,
Time for you to turn over another stone.
yeah, maybe, right. I could manage you. But the truth is, like I said before, and it just sounds so cliche, but you have to follow your dreams. This is what you want to do. You have to go for it.
Yes.
And you have to let nothing stop you. I don't care how many people say no or you're not good enough. Just tell them, okay, thanks for your opinion, and keep on going, because someone's going to hear you and say, now that guy can sing.
Which it's already happened.
See?
It's already starting. I'm here interviewing you, and
See?
so
That's-
it's all coming together.
See? Luckily, you already told me about yourself before that question, so I was pretty well equipped to
There you
discuss
go.
that.
And you guys got to definitely check out herfriendshipmatters.org. It's a great organization. They take donations.
Absolutely, donations
I'm going to
help.
definitely be donating my time to help them out in any way possible that I can. Couple more questions for you. I noticed that you were talking about how you were a writer and you've written 2 books now.
Correct.
What made you want to become an author on top of everything else that you've done?
Well, it goes hand in hand. I'm a writer, a journalist, so I create with words. That's what I do. You know, a bricklayer builds with his bricks, you know, and a ditch digger digs holes and builds buildings on top of those holes. I build with words. I create stories or thoughts with the words that come in my head. So writing's what I do, and I love it. So every opportunity I have to sit down and put my thoughts on paper, well, now it's not paper, it's right into the computer. We used to write longhand, no more. You know, it's a great opportunity for me to express myself, and it's so relaxing. So for me, that's kind of a hobby.
So what are your books about? Are they like
Well, my
motivational
first-
books? Are they
My first book's called Hit Me With Your Best Shot, and it's a
good
self-help
song?
book. Hit me with your best shot, fire away.
Is that Pat Benatar?
Pat Benatar. Actually, it's about living your life like it's a fight, and all the metaphors about boxing that apply to our life. Get the right people in your corner, know when to throw in the towel. Some fights you're not going to win, so give it up before you get beat up. You know, things like that. Watch out for the low blows in life because you're going to get them. Things like that. And that was the first book. The second book, Between the Ropes, is a self-help book. And no, the first one was. Second one is, well, it is a self-help book because it's an autobiography, but it tells my life and how I was able to take on the challenges I took on. So it is kind of a self-help book because as well as being a biography about a person's life, I think you can learn from a person's life and take some of the lessons that they've learned and apply it to your own life. So I guess it would be considered a self-help autobiography.
Are you working on any other books?
I am working on the
A
third
third
book.
book?
Yeah. I don't have a title for it yet. Maybe you could think of one. But it's about you can get older without getting old. So I don't know whether to call it something like Ageless Lives or something. But, you know, I'm 70 and I feel 50.
It's about getting old but not feeling old?
And not looking old and not acting old. Because a lot
Age
of times...
is just a number.
Well, that's what they say, and
Yeah.
and I think in my case I found that to be true because just because I'm 70 and at the kind of getting to the end of my journey, I don't feel that I have to walk around with a walker and gray hair and sit in a rocking chair and, you know,
I'm 33 and I move like I'm
Crochet.
70, so.
33, you're just beginning. I was 32 when I got into boxing, so, and most of my biggest successes were after I was your age. So you still have everything ahead of you.
So what do you plan to do next?
Oh,
What's
that's a
your
great
next
question.
plan?
Well, I'm doing a lot of, glad
Besides
you
managing
asked.
me.
No, I'm glad you asked that because I'm promoting these black tie MMA events in California. Now, these are fun. it's a sit-down dinner, beautiful dinner. Everybody dresses up like they're going to the Oscars, red carpet, serve a beautiful meal. We honor somebody. Our last one, we honored Freddie Roach. He's a big boxing trainer. And Tommy Hearns was there, and Shane Mosley was there, and a lot of actors from different shows were there. And it was amazing. Then we have the fights, cage fights, MMA fights. So that was really fun. And now we're doing one September 15th, and I'm honoring Julio Cesar Chavez, who's a legend, a Mexican fighter who's very, very legendary.
I don't think I've ever heard that name, but.
You haven't?
I don't think I've heard that name.
Oh, get some research done tonight. Julio Cesar Chavez, well, you're not a boxing fan, you're a singer, comedian.
Well, I was a boxing fan. I was a big James Toney fan. I was a George Foreman fan.
Yeah, maybe he's a little before you, but he's awesome. I mean, he's legendary, Hall of Famer.
Fun name to say, though, Julio.
Julio Cesar Chavez. So we're going to honor him, and we'll have a lot of celebrities on hand. Probably have Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard there because it's the day before their anniversary, their 35th anniversary of when they fought.
Well, send me a plane. I'll be there.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's really nice of you. I'll just have to see if my jet's ready.
I'll bring my black tie.
Yeah, well, you can sing the anthem.
There you go.
We'll make it like karaoke. We'll all join in with you, right?
National anthem sung by everybody. I don't know how that would go.
No, but you're the one with the mic, so we hear you the most.
There you go.
Can you do that song?
Oh, yeah, I could probably do that song, yeah.
And hit every note?
Oh, yeah, or even get higher than I need to. Oh, yeah.
That's impressive.
What obstacles have you had to go through that's maybe stopped you a little bit, or it's kind of pushed you off in another direction, or maybe discouraged you in any way?
That's another good question because we all have obstacles in life.
Yes, nothing goes smooth.
I mean, I have 4 heart stents. I just got my last one 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
I had 95% blockage, so that's bad. We all get something. I have glaucoma. I'm legally blind in my right eye, but that's okay because I have this one. And everything's attitude. It's how you feel about things. Obstacles, to me, are to be jumped over, run around, kicked to the curb, whatever you have to do to get past that obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
And life is an obstacle course. I picked a career that was mostly men. A lot of them didn't want me around. Either they figured I was superfluous, I didn't know anything, I was just there to, maybe they thought one of the guys was my boyfriend, which was never the case. I was already married with 2 children when I got into it, and now at 70, my fighter's 18. I don't think anyone's thinking that anymore. I have grandkids older than him. But, there were obstacles as far as being taken seriously. Because here you are, this blonde white woman in a sport that's predominantly of color. And, I think that I stood out, a little bit. And so I think they had to figure out who I was and what was my agenda.
Well, they should think the opposite because women are very good organizers.
Yeah.
So you would think you're going to pick everything apart.
Yeah, but this was 38 years ago, almost 39 years ago. A different attitude back then. I was supposed to go back to the kitchen. And, I didn't really like the kitchen as much as I liked the gym. So, I say when I get home, I'll cook. Right now, I want to be at Kronk. And it was hot and sweaty and full of cockroaches, but I loved it. And I never listened to anybody else. I followed my own little inner voice.
So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the Her Friendship Foundation that we haven't discussed yet? Or?
Well, I think that the most important thing is for people to go to the website, see what it's all about. That's what this is for, and this is all on the website.
Okay.
And you'll understand what the goals are, and you'll understand why it's important to have, these swimmobiles and bounce houses and things. Things that bring the community together, because it's all about every young person who thinks they have no future and no dream needs to be taken by the hand.
I've been there.
And told, well, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
And everybody's dream, if it's realistic, is attainable. But like I said, for me, if I was going to want to be a skier in the Olympics, ain't no way that was ever going to happen. So I would have failed and felt very bad. But I picked what I was good at, and I've met young girls that were brilliant artists, didn't even know it. Just watching them sketch, I thought, are you serious? That's a serious talent you have. And they needed to be encouraged to become a graphic artist or a designer or something. So hopefully we'll find everybody's calling, and together we can give all young people hope,
Well,
especially women.
it's the easiest the people to help out are the ones that don't even really know they're talented. They're very humble or maybe not so much humble, but they're just clueless that how talented they really are.
A lot of them are insecure and they have low self-esteem, and that's a big problem
That
in our
too.
community. Is if you don't think you're good, you're not going to act as if you're good, because we tend to listen to that little inner voice I was talking about, and my inner voice tells me you're really good at what you do. So I'm very confident when I'm doing the things that I love doing and that I'm good at. But some people don't have that, because the inner voice is the voice that's been told to them by a parent or someone who said to them, you're a loser, you're no good, you're never going to be anything. And they don't have a strong enough voice within them to overcompensate. So
Someone's got to talk for them.
that's what we're trying to do. We want to erase that message and put in a new message, which is you're great and you can do whatever you want.
I am definitely on board with that.
Thank you.
So everybody needs to check out herfriendshipmatters.org. I want to thank Jackie Kallen for coming on here and doing this interview with
My
us.
pleasure.
It was a wonderful, wonderful interview. So you guys take care, God bless, and have a great day.